I'ma keep it a bean. Stick to the script every scene. These from last year, but they clean. Say to say I'ma take something else, but it's winning team. Charlie Sheen, fam gang the regime. I'm from Potty Green.
This been overdue forever. Asked me when it was dropping, said never. Should've made you cut the feta, but I designed it Freemason Margiela.
What's good, Shellitronnn here, the most woke, no joking. I'm back at again with a brand new video, and today is a really big day, or it's a kind of big day. It's the very first day of the Panthers OTAs, and you know what? This is actually, not the hugest thing, not like training camp. It's definitely not the preseason, but it is an important day to start looking at some of our newer guys, looking at some position battles, and finding out just where we stand, or getting I guess the first peek, the first glimpse of some of our guys, and finding out just where we stand and just where we've improved. And I'm going to give you guys my top 5 things to pay attention to during the Panthers OTAs. And I don't think the media is allowed to talk about OTAs or like be in attendance until this Wednesday. So I'm not really sure what we'll be hearing from today and Tuesday. And now one more thing before I get to this list of the top 5 things. I know some of you guys have noticed I started doing reactions again. Now, if you're new to the channel and you don't know what I was doing earlier on when I first started this channel, I was always doing both Panthers content and music reactions alongside each other. And I just stopped maybe 3-4 months ago. And I am picking it back up a little bit, but that won't mean there's going to be any kind of decline in the quality or the quantity of Panthers content. And I'm not going to be doing any kind of filler, nonsense kind of Panthers content, but there will not be a decline in the Panthers content at all. It's just fun content that I like doing, and I stopped doing it, and I just want to bring it back. And if you don't like it, that's 100% cool, but I can promise you 2 things. 1, it won't hurt me if you don't watch the videos, and 2, it won't hurt you if you don't watch the videos. It's 100% cool. You can keep watching the Panthers content and just ignore the reactions, or you can watch those and enjoy them or whatever, but just fair warning, I'm doing both. Anyway, down to this list, the number 5 thing I think is most important to keep an eye on during these OTAs is the offensive line. I think we have some really good starters. We have Taylor Moton, we have Trey Turner, Matt Paradis, Daryl Williams, and we also picked up Greg Little. So, I mean, our stars are looking pretty good. And then you think about Taylor Hearn, Tyler Larson. Taylor Hearn, who knows? Brandon Mahone. Now, I don't really know too much about Dorian Johnson, I'm not going to lie to you. But, I mean, he's listed at the 2nd string right guard for the team right now. So he's obviously not too bad. I won't lie to you. I don't really know or hear much about him. So, I mean, we have a pretty straight group of guys as starters, and we have, 3, maybe even 4 guys, I'd probably say 3 guys who are very, very, very solid behind our starter guys. So I am not worried at all. The biggest thing about O-line isn't really the guys' individual talents. The O-line is a unit. There has to be chemistry. There has to be synergy. These guys have to move and know and communicate very quickly. Notice things, see what the defense is giving you, and communicate all that, and listen to the center, listen to the quarterback, all that kind of stuff. So we'll be looking to see them grow not only individually in their talents, but as a unit together. And I think we will really see some really positive things from them. So although I'm not all that super worried about them, they are an important piece to keep an eye on. And there are a lot of young guys, a lot of guys in new positions, new responsibilities. So we want to see just how they look. Now, my 4th biggest focus for the OTAs is our backup quarterback situation. This might sound like I'm making a Cam point here, but it's really not. I'm talking 100% specifically about the quarterback battle between Will Grier and Kyle Allen. Now, I've always said this. I've been pretty consistent on this. I think that Will Grier was the 2nd best quarterback in this draft, but I still don't think that he was really a starter level quarterback yet. He's still kind of a project. Probably needs a year or 2 before he actually can be at a starter level. Most teams don't really even have one good backup quarterback. I think we have 2 in our hands here, and it can only be a positive to see these guys go head to head and, see them grow and become better in case, something should happen. I think both these guys could go out and get a couple wins for us if we really need them to. I mean, 2 out of 4, maybe even 3 out of 4 if the schedule works out perfectly for us. So I'm 100% cool with this. Now for number 3. Look, I know this name sounds like it should be a little bit higher on this list, but number 3 is Cam Newton. I know you're thinking, wait, but Cam's our starting quarterback. He's coming off of 2 straight years of shoulder surgery. He just got hurt in the middle of the season of last year, and we have to see, is he going to be healthy? Can he repeat what he did last year for the team in the first 8-9 games before he got hurt? Can he bring that same production back? Because look, he only has 2 more years in his contract, and most teams re-up their quarterback's contract with 1 year left. So basically, it's how he performs this year, because you don't want your quarterback going to his last year of his contract without being re-up, because look, You don't want other teams to be in the bidding war with them. And look, where the money goes, these players go. Ain't no lie about that. That's not the point of this right now, though. The biggest point I'm trying to make here is that while Cam is a big focus for right now during the offseason, the question is, what should we pay attention to during these OTAs, not during the whole offseason? And for me, honestly, keep it real with you, if I'm the team, if I'm North Turner, if I'm Ron Rivera, if I'm Marty Hurney, if I have to, I mean, even if I'm the head cheese, I do not let Cam Newton throw a single pass during It's OTAs. It's OTAs. Maybe during training camp, definitely during the preseason, see how it works out. But during OTAs, I don't care how. I don't need Cam to throw a pass in OTAs. I do not need Cam to throw a single pass during OTAs. When training camp comes around, when it gets a little more serious, and his arm can, rehab better, who cares about OTAs right now? I don't care too much about Cam throwing, and plus, this gives us more time to actually evaluate Will Grier and Kyle Allen. And Cam throwing isn't the only way to show his value to the team. He can still be mentoring these guys. He can still be in the classroom with these guys. He can see how they're working out with the guys. He can watch and look for guys' tendencies, how they've grown and whatnot. Cam does not need to throw a pass to grow and to, show his value to the team during the OTA sessions. So while he is a big factor, he's number 3 out of, the top 5 things, he's number 3. I do not think that it's all that important for him to really be number 1 or even the number 2 issue for the team or for fans to really look at during the OTAs. It does not matter for me. Why rush back? It's May. It's May. He can get his passes in July when training camp comes. As long as he's getting his shoulder right, that's cool with me. All right, now number 2. Number 2, I'm going to boil it down to one person, but I guess in a more general sense, you could talk about the whole unit as a whole. I'm talking about Rashawn Golden being the second biggest thing for fans to look at. We've been putting a lot of pressure on Rashawn Golden because of the things people have been saying. They've been saying, look, we forgot about Rashawn Golden. The fans don't know who Rashawn Golden is. He's going to be our starting free safety? Maybe. He's going to be our starting slot corner? Maybe. I do not want Rashawn Golden trying out for 2 different spots on the team. Why is Rashawn Golden trying out for free safety and slot corner? Focus on one and find the guy who can start at the other spot. Either he's going to be a really good slot corner or you're going to build him up to be a really good free safety. But I don't like the idea of us splitting his time between both of them and, not finding out until later. Because if you're splitting his time at those 2 spots, you're also splitting the other guy's time at those 2 spots. So you don't really get the best you can out of both those dudes. Now, I do still believe we're going to pick up someone in the free. Now, I do still believe we're going to be picking up someone during free agency. So I'm not really all that worried about that. Hopefully, they're still available by June 2nd. But, it's just a little bit weird to me that we don't have a starting free safety or a starting slot corner yet, that anyone's really able to say with any kind of conviction or confidence that we have that guy on the team. And a bigger point to add to that as a wider scope is it's not just about your starters. Who are your backups? Every single team in the NFL has injuries every single year. You never know who it's going to be. It could be one guy, it could be another guy, it could be an injury-prone guy, or it could be a guy who's never had an injury in his life. But if someone goes down at slot corner or free safety, who do we have? We have UDFAs there, or guys who really haven't got a big enough opportunity, and it's not going to be all that pretty. I hope, as an optimist, I hope they can come in and be starter level talent, even be, great. But we need starters, and we need to find out if we have some really solid depth behind those guys, and not just hopeful and wishful thinking that, hey, it'll all work out, guys. Hey, y'all just forgetting about these dudes. Hey, just trust me, it'll all work out. I want to see something. I want to hear something about these guys having really good days during this OTA sessions, during the training camp, preseason. Now, there's sometimes you hear writers talk about how guys have amazing mini camp OTA sessions. I talked to one of the writers actually, and I'm not getting into all that. There was an opinion that one of the writers had that I was actually very, it was kind of, I thought it was a little bit disingenuous a little bit. There was a player who had really, really bad stats when he got his chances in the preseason, and I asked about him, and they said that, he had really good mini camp and OTA and training camp sessions, and he's like a lightning rod and all this other stuff, when we really haven't seen anything to indicate that realistically. And that's what really leads me into my number 1 thing to look into during OTAs, and it's not a player. The biggest thing that you want to look into is the wording of the reports that come out about OTAs. Now, they could be saying one thing, but they're also, underlying kind of things that go along with the words they're saying, and there are some tricky kind of wordplay into semantics and, things that are said, but things that are like conspicuously left out. Articles that kind of half answer questions and reports that are very, very highly positive, and when addressing things that might be seen as negative or things that need a little bit more work are worded in a sort of yes, but kind of manner that make you think, I mean, are you actually going to report on the issue, or is it going to be, is this more like a cheerleader kind of thing where you're just talking about only positives and there's no room at all for any kind of constructive criticism for any player? And that's what I've noticed. I don't like to talk about this too much because I don't want to talk about any specific writer or, any specific kind of media outlet or whatever. But what I've noticed is that a lot of times when it comes to constructive criticism, a lot of the wording comes in a yes, but kind of way, and it skirts around an actual issue to bring up something that may not be all that relevant, or something that's kind of relevant but doesn't really answer the question or really address the bigger issue. For example, something recently that happened was an article when Denoris Cersei got cut from the team, where the wording of it made it sound like Denoris Cersei wasn't a starter for the team and that he might have been a free safety for the team. But now that he's gone, Rashawn Gallman's going to get a shot to be the starter free safety, when actually Denoris Cersei was the starter for the team at safety, but he was a strong safety and his spot on the team never did and never was going to affect whether or not Rashawn Gallman was going to get a shot at free safety. It was never an issue. If anything, Cersei was going to be a backup strong safety to back up, Eric Reed. But the wording of the article made it kind of sound misleading just a little bit. And there's a lot of other times where I've noticed this kind of thing with just about every single outlet that comes with the Panthers. And it won't really do me or anyone else any kind of good to, single out and point out every single example of it. I'm just saying that in general, make sure you're reading what's coming out and make sure you're looking into it and actually seeing what the words are saying and then seeing what the words aren't saying as well. I'm not saying doubt everything. I'm not saying, oh, you guys are all liars. You guys are all cheerleaders. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that words have meaning and the absence of some words also have meaning. But despite both those facts, words mean nothing if you can kind of bend the way they're interpreted. And that for me is the biggest thing for all fans to look at during these OTAs. That's very important. Not a player, not a position group, not a coach, but I think that's very important. Not just with the Panthers, but I guess in everyday life. That's a life lesson right there. This ain't the channel for life lessons, but I'm telling you right now, this is actually very, very important. That's how I feel about it. O-line, the backup quarterback situation, Cam, Rashawn Gallman, wording of reports, and maybe even, the backup running back situation is a kind of an honorable mention. You can probably even swap that out for the backup quarterback situation. I mean, I think that Jordan Scarlett and Holyfield are going to be part of a really, really big and actually really entertaining position battle to see who's going to be backing up Christian McCaffrey. So, I mean, that's how I feel about it. How do you feel? Is my list good? Is it bad? Do you disagree with any of it, man? Let me know all that in the comments below. And as always, you already know to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Being told y'all I been the man. Being told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.